Hello and welcome to the industrial capital of the world, in the Shanghai International Circuit in China for round 4 of the 17th season of the STB Racing League here on F1 2020. And we are here for the Chinese Grand Prix live from Shanghai, a country we didn't come to last season due to the reduced calendar, but we're back in China, and this race has been a very interesting one for many seasons in STB. A lot of great battles, as Bullseye's already picked up a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Maurice. But we're here in China, round 4. It was a pretty dismal Vietnam Grand Prix last week, a track which we didn't expect much overtaking, but we are expecting some good overtaking moves here in China. I am joined once again by Riggsy X. Riggsy, how are you feeling, and what's your expectations ahead of this race?
Firstly, I just want to build on your introduction there. It's great to be back once again. Vietnam, it was a completely new experience for STB and for league racing. It was a brand new circuit on the calendar. I was kind of in the same boat as yourself. There wasn't really much scope for like any wheel-to-wheel action, overtaking. It was a street circuit as well. Like we were saying last week, there was a lot of like Valencia vibes kind of coming from the circuit, and it just didn't really live up to in our personal minds. And plus, the weather was quite dismal as well. So that probably would have emphasised a greater challenge for us on top of the already excessive challenge of overtaking at the circuit anyway. But for China, I think it's a completely different game. Plenty of overtaking opportunities. There should be plenty of wheel-to-wheel action throughout the field, up and down. Plenty of overtaking at turn 1 and turn 14 at the end of the big straight, the 2 DRS points, as well as turn 6 where I'm on board with Mercury. Just breaking into here will be the best of the late breakers or something, however the saying goes. But they'll probably be the main areas for overtaking, and anywhere in between it's just a underlined bit of bravery, so to speak.
Yes, definitely. This track does have quite a resemblance to the Sepang International Circuit, with the long left-hander around that section. So there are some good memories from previous circuits on this track. And this once had Riggsy, before we had Vietnam, Baku. What Mercury's going down now used to be the London Straight in Formula One. So the drivers are definitely going to have to utilise their setup in order to get the top speed down the straight, but also to get the grip round the corners.
Definitely, I think turns sectors 1 and 3 are really just going to be a matter of trying to run with skinnier wings to try and maximise the engine speed and the top end speed of these cars. But it's in the second sector where you're really going to have to try and come up with some kind of compromise. Do you really go flat out for the best top end speed and greater your chance of overtaking, or do you put a bit extra downforce on the front and the rear of the car on the wings to try and combat the long sweeping left and right in the second sector, to try and keep the downforce and keep the car planted through there? It is an extremely difficult challenge, especially at speed, because the back end of the car always really wants to step out through the long left-hander in 7 and 8. In the second sector, so I think drivers might maybe go a bit skinny at the front on the front wings, but for the rear wing there will be an extra bit of downforce to try and keep the car stable at the back, and I think that's the key as well. You can sacrifice a slight bit of top end speed for that extra grip, and I think that's what most drivers will be going out onto the circuit trying to do. As we see some contact there, Bullseye was a bit unaware of the Alpha Tauri and Maritz on his lap into turn 11, and Maritz has picked up some damage, so his qualifying went swimmingly there as he tries into the back of the Ferrari.
Sorry, Riggsy, early in the sessions when I was doing the introduction for this race, Paul's actually picked up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Maurice. So it looks like there's a bit of tension going on between those two drivers. But one driver, Riggsy, that we need to look out for this race is Davizin. The gap, I believe, who's currently in P1. Davizin and Bruno at the moment is currently 13 points at the top of the standings. So I think, if Davizin can win this race, then it's going to put him in a good position ahead of the Dutch Grand Prix, because all points matter. Even though this is the longest season in STB history, all points matter. And I think that we are really looking at the two contenders. Maybe Bullseye if he can pull something out the bag in the next few races. But I think the two contenders we are looking at is Davizin and Bruno Will.
Definitely, the two Brazilians really kind of just emphasising and kind of securing their place at the top end of the field. Bruno Will, we've known from last season, is always able to run a dominant race as and when he needs to. He's shown some exceptional results last season with a few wins under his belt, and he's carried that momentum over with a strong run in Australia and some strong results along the way with Bahrain and Vietnam as well. So he really is solidifying his charge. Davizin last time out got his first win in STB as well. Speaking of the two, they're both occupying the front row as well, so they're just underlining their potential for strong race results in these coming weekends. But there is like a few drivers there as well. You've got like Ham Jam and Jam Ham kind of still kind of carrying the momentum forward. You've got Bullseye, you were saying as well, despite the 5-second penalty, he's going to be up there trying to like maybe ruffle a few feathers as well. You've probably got Libero, who's kind of still trying to kind of find his feet at this stage. He's always one to watch because he can put a strong result out if the strategy calls for it. Billy WF, I mean, I'd want to try and kind of hype up, formerly known as Urban Unicorn, try and get him on the board. But he said, despite a pole last time out in Vietnam, he's raced in really good plans, and he's really having a bit of a torrid start to the season, and he's proven himself to be a race winner in STB.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Riggsy, for the insight there. We've now got Danny in the party. Danny, if you'd like to produce your audio, I'm going to give you a few quick questions and you can get yourself back out on circuit. Bruno Will there goes P1 to 128.9, so that is probably at the moment 3 tenths clear over Davizin. So, Danny, we are here in China. What's your feelings ahead of ahead of China? Bullseye's a little bit fuming. He's had a penalty or something. Anyway, Danny, sorry, yeah. How are you feeling ahead of tonight's Chinese Grand Prix?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm hoping to get top 5, maybe. Just hope points. I mean, first start box in third, but I know that there's some quick guys behind that can easily beat that time. So hopefully I can get 5 in quali, and then hopefully it's an okay race, and just get some decent points. I mean, I've had 2 7th places and a 4th so far, so hopefully just continue that. And
that's good. In Bahrain, Danny, 2 weeks ago, we were interviewing Mercury, and we was aware of some of the tension over Alfa Romeo. How is the team 2 weeks later? And is the tension still there between you and Mercury?
No, there's nothing there. It's all under the bridge now, as they say. It's all sorted, and we're working together to make sure we get good results now. Yeah, hopefully that can spring Alpha higher up the table.
Okay. And any comments on the weather, or are you going to keep us in the dark about the weather for the race?
It seems to be dry so far. It's obviously it's going to be dry, but in terms of whether it'll be cloudy or not, I'll keep you in the dark on that at least.
Okay. Thank you, Danny, and good luck on your next run.
Cheers.
So, Riggsy, yes, it looks like there's no tension at Alfa Romeo, which is good to hear, and it's good to hear that Danny's very positive about the progress of the team. That they're definitely, I would say, the strongest of teammates in terms of the bond, the friendship that they've got, and that's very important, I think, for teammates.
It's always good to have a teammate that you can rely on and trust at the end of the day. I mean, like, whatever the tension was between them, it's good to see that he's saying it's water under the bridge, and that they can both just kind of move on, try and do the best for the team. They're currently occupying 2 very strong seats on the grid at the moment. We've still got over 7 minutes left, and he was saying it himself in the interview, Maldi. He is confident in a strong qualifying result, but he is acknowledging that he might have a battle on his hands to try and keep himself in third place. As he was saying, look at Bullseye, his teammate right close behind as well. Toxic Fusion's kind of found some pace here in Shanghai, currently 6th fastest. And as well as a couple of drivers that we normally see a bit further up the field still to put in a representable time. So that trying to kind of keep that P3 will be a challenge, but he has definitely shown his pace early on to show us, the viewers and the commentators, that he can challenge for strong results.
Yes. Also, Rigsy, so I think I wanted to mention, we've got a new driver here tonight as well, LMT Victor McFly. Joining the Red Bull team here for this evening, and we've also got 2 Tier 2 drivers, Rigsy, that are joining us for this evening. We're doing a bit of practice, I think, for tomorrow, and we had to get some Tier 2 drivers in. So we've got some of the front runners in, Nagy Botti and FNT Kevin. So that'll be good to see, and it'll be good to see actually where they'll be lining up for tomorrow as well. Obviously I've got my race tomorrow, so it's going to be good to see what they're going to be doing ready for tomorrow. But yeah, Rigsy, I mean, not much happening at the moment. We're waiting for the final few minutes of the session. Cherky's on lap at the moment. He's currently in P10, that's playing that DRS down the long straight. I believe coming up now to turn 14. A difficult corner on the circuit, Rigsy. You know, it's high speed, you've got to brake. You know, quite a lot of load on the brakes there. You've got to get the car stopped. And as we've seen in real life as well, Dowson sets the fastest lap of the session, quicker than Bruno Will. That's a good lap there. As we've seen in real life, I think was it Gutierrez into the back of Salba into the back at turn 14 because of the speed that the drivers carry down to that braking zone. So the drivers really got to be careful. Jamham is 3 tenths up Rigsy on his lap in the second sector. Representative and 17th place at the moment. This could well be a good time. It is P9. Okay, not what we expect from Jamham, but his brother Rigsy, Hamjam 2002, P3 at the moment, 129.297. So it's looking close here in Shanghai.
Definitely, once again, both Mercedes looking like they're carrying some serious pace going into the race weekend in China. We've got Bullseye as well representing the sole Ferrari as well. There's only one Ferrari here in China for this weekend, or this weekday rather, since it is a Monday night. But I really still feel like if it's going to stay the way it is, and it can easily change, but it will probably be between the two Mercedes, the sole Ferrari or Bullseye. If he can, I mean, despite his penalty, he's going to get put down to at least P10 highest as it currently stands. So he might be having a bit more work to do trying to cut through the pack. Davison as well really shown us that he's on the pace once again after he's won, able to carry the momentum forward into China. So he'll be one to watch in this race as well. And you've got the top regular, the kind of regulars like Jamham, Liberal, kind of Gravity, who's always able to kind of come in, alter his strategy, go different with the approach into the race, and he's always able to kind of claw in some points and take some from the team. So he'll probably want to watch in the midfield as well. So plenty to watch, Maldi, in this 28 lap race that's coming up.
Definitely. VC's on a very good lap at the moment. I believe he's 4 tenths up. He's on for looking around, P3, P4 at the moment is VC. So he's made a bit of a mistake into the hairpin there, but he's not going to lose too much time because that corner's got quite weird, I would say, in terms of how it works. You go wide, but sometimes you can actually gain some time from doing so. And it's P4 for him, 129.2. P4 for VC. Mercury is in P7, and he's saying he was in the week. He was actually saying that he's a bit concerned at VC's performance so far, because VC was a favourite for the championship battle. And he's not really shown that so far this season. So a bit of shade from Mercury in the week, currently in P7. But yeah, Rigsy, I mean, VC, good lap there, P4. He definitely needed that.
Definitely, you kind of really want to start the season strong. You kind of take the first set of flyaways with a pinch of salt. Really, like these are just kind of like the testers for the drivers. Like, I mean, I'm not saying to try and discredit any of the drivers that have shown so far in the season, but like it's kind of try to really find your feet in the first few races that really becomes an issue for the drivers. If you can't really find a rhythm, then you can find yourself in serious trouble when we come to the European stages. We're actually going back to Europe for a small margin of the European rounds in a week's time for Zandvoort, which is another brand new circuit as well.
That's going to be a good
very
race.
much looking forward to. That'll definitely be one to tune in for. So hope to see you in a week's time for that. Brand new circuit. It's a very fast layout. Plenty of fast turns and very little overtaking in my opinion. I think it'll be hard, but I think that just adds to the challenge of the circuit, which I'm very much looking forward to.
I think it will be a lot more interesting, Rigsy, than Vietnam. I think, yeah, that's my personal opinion. Mercury then was 5 thousandths down in the first sector, so you're going to see if we can claw some time back in the second sector. The sun is coming out, peering out from the clouds, Rigsy. That's going to help the drivers with temperature, help drivers push that little bit more. Mercury then is up on his time, but only just. So we're going to look now. All eyes on a lap. All these drivers now on a lap. Bruno Will is currently on a lap. Rigsy, he is up on his time. Danny thinks he's coming off the P3 there.
I think with the track evolution really coming into play, I would expect DJ Danny to kind of slide down the order. Not too drastically, but enough to still kind of keep him in a top 8 position, because the track's going to constantly evolve and get quicker. As you're saying, the sun's even starting to shine on the circuit as well, which is really going to help the tyre grip and temperatures as they're running on their final laps. The squeaky bum time of the circuit, as we've seen Mercury get a bit out of shape, and it's P5 for the Alfa Romeo driver. They're just 2,000 shy of VC, who you were saying a few moments ago was trying to kind of throw some shade there, try and kind of just get under the skin of your rivals to try and see if they can slip up or make a mistake somewhere. So if it stays the way it is, both of them will be starting on the same roll.
Davidson is up on his time, Rigsy, at the moment. This could be pole position lap time.
Oh, let's see. He is coming through turn 12 onto the big straight. There's nobody in front, so he's not going to have any benefit for slipstream. He's going to have to rely on his car piercing the hole through the air and being weighed down by the downforce that you're generating through that. So let's see how he does into the hairpin. Locks up, misses the apex. He'll probably have lost a tenth or two in doing that. The exit does get a bit better the wider you come in, but it doesn't really seem to be too sharp.
He hasn't hit the curb there where he needed to.
Oh, and he's invalidated as well, but he is still currently in pole position, and it will be
Fusion P3, Rigsy. P3 there for Tossex Fusion. That's his best. I think that's his best qualifying of the season. Jamham 10th up in the second sector. Let's see how he does the hairpin. Perfect.
The 10th could honestly, he's sitting P8, Maldy. A tenth of a second could put you third. Like, that's how crucial it is. That's how close it is. The top, like third down to 8th is separated by less than a tenth of a second. And this, if he can find that 10th, then we can see Hamjam starting in P3. But he comes through the final turn, looks quite tidy up to the line. Checkered flag will be waving, and it is third place. He does find that extra 10th. So he's going to be starting right behind his teammate. Bruno Will has invalidated his lap, and I think he's ran out of fuel as well, so he'll not be improving. We'll need to see who else is improving. Mercury's done on his time. Churka's invalidated.
Gravity's now going to come across the line. It's going to be P12 for the Renault driver, 129.8. So not very good times. My personal best at the moment, Riggs, it would actually put me in P14. So I'm quite happy with that, to be fair.
Definitely got some pace there, Maldi. You should be tier 1 drivers.
Yes, definitely.
But I quite like you in the commentary booth just the same.
Yeah.
But Gravity gets P12 on the final run there. And interestingly, Maldi, the track itself is quite an abrasive circuit for the tyres. So it's surprising to see them on softs. I said when you were interviewing DJ Danny, he was keeping the weather a bit secret, so maybe there is some rain, because everybody is on the soft tyres. I'm surprised nobody's really tried to kind of get into the top 10 on a set of medium tyres, so maybe there is a wee bit of Mother Nature doing her work for the race, but we'll just need to sit tight and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, Danny Danny didn't really give too much away. He just said it's going to be cloudy. Who knows? It is China. Fusion then I'm looking at the moment, P4 for the Red Bull. Best qualifying to date this season. He's definitely got some good pace around this circuit. But on pole position is Davizin. Second is Bruno. It's a Brazilian 1-2. That is absolutely amazing for Brazil. Third, Hamjan 2002. Fourth, Fusion, best qualifying of the season. Fifth, Danny. Sixth is VC, his best qualifying of the season as well. Mercury puts himself in P7. That's a strong qualifying from him. 3 tenths off the lead. Eighth is initially Bullseye. We've got a 5-place grid drop. Ninth was Churka. 10th, Jamham. 11th was Kevin. That will be giving confidence for tomorrow's Tier 2 race. 12th is Gravity. 13th, Libero. 14th, Mariz. 15th, Nagybot. 16th was Victor McFly. 17th, Buckley. 18th was Zitzi. And 19th, it was Paul in Vietnam. It's 19th for Billy WF.
And just the McLaren just really no finding a rhythm at all. Like, he was blisteringly quick on 1 lap pace, but when it was raining in Vietnam, his race just kind of was like, it's like that saying, like when it rains in pools, like when one thing goes wrong, it kind of seems to just kind of trigger a domino effect, and everything just seems to be thrown out the window. So he's no had the greatest start to the season as well, and it's going to be even further compounded with the fact that he's at the back of the field for this race. We were talking about Bullseye and the Ferrari representing the sole Ferrari, as there is only one here, so he'll be starting 13th on the grid due to his 5-place grid penalty. So he's going to have the challenge as well. But the crucial thing about that as well is, despite qualifying in the top 10, you can, from 11th down, you get the free choice of tyre, but he'll not get that privilege because he was originally 8th. So he'll have to start on the softs. So that'll be interesting as well.
Oh, yes.
See if the drivers actually do go for the mediums in the race.
A few drivers are actually going for hards. Buckley, Zitzi and Billy are all going for hards, those at the back of the field. So that'll be interesting to see. They've been saying that the strategy is medium to hard. Some have been saying you can go soft to hard. Some are saying you have to go 2-stopper. So it's all up in the air really here in China. Anything can happen. And it looks like the sky is quite clear, Rixie, for the race.
Definitely, there doesn't seem to be a cloud in the sky. You can see the skyline in the distance there. You can see the pillar pylons as well. So no grey skies to be seen. The sun shining. The sun be shining, rather.
The Chinese Grand Prix live from the Shanghai International Circuit. And we're here for round 4, ladies and gentlemen, for this Chinese Grand Prix. What a race this is. I believe was in the hundreds of millions, this construction of this circuit. And it's such a beautiful venue to come to, isn't it, Riggsy? I think China is one of them countries where you do look forward to coming here, because the infrastructure around this circuit is absolutely stunning in my opinion. But Davizin leads the formation now, Riggsy, in his Williams. Is he going to make it 2 races out of 2 here, Vietnam and China? Is he going to win the Chinese Grand Prix? Second is Bruno Will. He needs to try, and if he wants, his championship, look at the strategy now. So either, the game recommended there, Riggsy, lap 6, I think it was, to hard compound tyres or a 2-stopper. So we're going to see what the drivers can do from the mediums, because some are on mediums, Riggsy. So definitely a mixed bag of strategies here in China.
Definitely, I'm looking at the tyre compounds just now. Top 9 are on the soft tyres they qualified on due to the rule. FNT Kevin and Gravity are next, 10th and 11th for the mediums. Liberal opting for the hards, as well as Victor McFly, Buckley, CC and Billy WF at the back of the field. Maritz and Nagy Botti, sorry, apologies for the incorrection there. On the mediums, in Bullseye, as I was saying, he has to start on the softs due to qualifying in the top 10, but being demoted due to the penalty. So definitely a real mix of tyre strategies here. The hard runners will definitely not be the best off the start. They'll just be wanting to get through in one piece, because if they pick up some damage, then their race is going to be thrown onto a 2-stop.
Yes, there was no Chinese Grand Prix last season, Riggsy. We are back, ready for action here at the Shanghai International Circuit. Welcome back to China, ladies and gentlemen, and it's now round 4 of the season here for season 17. Riggsy, are you ready? Who's going to win?
Bruno will.
Okay, Riggsy says Bruno will. I say Davi's in. It's 4 lights. It's 5 lights on that gantry here for the Chinese Grand Prix lights, and away they go. It's a decent start there. Someone's had an incredible start. What a start from Mercury, Riggsy. What a start down in the turn number 1. Oh, he's already alongside the Mercedes of the Hamjam 2002 there to go down into turn number 1. Now Mercury's going to try and pick off his teammate Danny. He's had a good start. He's kept up in the P3 there. And now Mercury around the outside of the Mercedes. That is a great start there from Mercury. Let's go to the back of the field. We have got Kevin now battling with VC there. Down at the back. VC P9, Kevin P10. Kevin's up the inside, and there's been a massive sort of spin out there. Bullseye trying to go up the inside. Riggsy, he's lost the back end there. He's lost the back end of the hairpin. He tried to get too optimistic there as the strategy comes medium to hard. Lap 13. That's lap 13 is the pit window, ladies and gentlemen. That's when the pit window opens. Davi's in lead, followed by Bruno Will, followed by Danny. Mercury, Riggsy, is going to be having the time of his life here in China. P3 and P4 for Alfa Romeo. And that team is going to be so happy. Defending going on at the back there for Kevin. And Gravity, a bit of dodgems there with Fusion. And KF Libero follows through as well on a set of hard compound tyres. So it's all kicking off here at the back, Riggsy, in China. But Davi's in leads and wide there from Victor McFly down in 18th.
Don't know really what happened in the start there, Maldy. Mercury just seemed to have the car hooked up. Before the 5th light was out, it looked like his car was darted right into the middle of the circuit. You could see him peeping just at the back, and he's already up into P4, so he's up 3 places. DJ Danny up 2, so the Alfa Romeo's really kind of getting the clean start that they would have wanted to try and get in front of both Mercedes. Well, it says both Mercedes, just please ignore the timing board at the minute, as it tends to do
DRS
glitches right at the start of the race.
What?
It does have these wee few glitches, and we have been, the community in STB and in other leagues and just general casual players of the game have been knocking on the door at Codemasters, just kind of telling them to get the issues sorted, get them ironed out as well. So I hope that's going to be. Oh, it's back to 2 now, and I think
now.
that's
I was getting
confused
then. Lap 3. Have we done 2 laps?
we've just time travelled forward an extra lap there.
Right, here we go.
Back to Alfa Romeo's really strong start.
Yeah,
Toxic Fusion's lost a lot off the start as well. He's down 6, and you've got Chuck and Jamham both up 2. Kevin's up 1. Hamjam's down 2, and the top 2 remain unchanged, with a few in between. Bullseye looked like he was really getting a bit hot under the collar on the first lap into turn 6. He nearly tapped.
Yeah.
I think he tapped the back of Toxic Fusion. Into turn 6 on the first lap.
He span out not tried to, but nearly had he had contact with the Red Bull, and the Red Bull nearly span. So, yeah, Bullseye not having the best of days. He had a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Mariz. 5-place grid penalty, yeah, and that crash in turn 6. I can't speak very well today. Speaking very quickly, Riggsy. It's not good. Mercury looks like he's dropping off to the back of Danny, Riggsy, but Danny is keeping up with Bruno Will here.
Danny really looking like he is on for some serious pace at this stage in the race. Early stages, everybody is on the soft tyres. The car will be full to the brim with fuel, so it will be really interesting to see, because it's crucial to emphasise the team game here in Formula 1 and in the STB League, because it means DJ Danny can go and push after Bruno Will in the Mercedes, while his teammate can keep Hamjam, the other Mercedes, at bay. So it's Alfa Romeo versus Mercedes at these early stages, and it's crucial to use and utilise your teammate and the team to try and nail the strategy and get the upper hand. So it will really be interesting to see how these next laps unfold. Pit window for softs will be around about lap 8, 9. I feel like they'll try and stretch the softs to maybe lap 10 latest, and then jump on the hards maybe a bit earlier if it's an early safety car. So be a bit wary of when drivers will really start to pit, because these tyres will degrade fast.
Yes, Danny then is going to try to go up with some DRS now, Riggsy. That's going to decrease the gap a little bit to Bruno Will. Not to the point where, he's going to get an overtake done, but to the point where he will be able to keep within that DRS range. It's going to be difficult, though, I think, for Bruno Will to keep up with Davi's winners. There's been a bit of change of position there. Churk has been overtaken by Jamham. the
That was running
hairpin.
outside. Running outside into the hairpin, so Jam Ham's opting to go the long way round there and still makes the move work. Ham and Jam running 5th and 6th. So Jam's definitely made a few places at the start as well after starting 9th, so he's up 3. So Haas 6th and 8th. I think VZ's went back the way as well on the start, Maldi. He didn't really get a good start. He's down 2 as well, so I don't really know what happened to him. I did see a couple of cars getting pushed out wide, so maybe he was one of them that just kind of got pushed out, elbows out through the first couple of turns. And it is crucial just to try and avoid damage and just keep the car clean through the first sector because it is extremely tight. But unsurprisingly, without throwing disrespect, hard tyre runners kind of just drifting at the back. They're not really being weighed in at this stage. They'll kick, the strategy for them will kick in round about lap 12, 14, and that's when they can really be up to scratch with the drivers in front. So they're just playing the long game at this stage.
Yeah. A driver that we need to look at is Kevin, actually. He's a Tier 2 driver. He's currently up in P9. I think this is a great performance from Kevin. Going to give him a lot of confidence for tomorrow. Definitely.
And it's key to point out as well that he's the first of the medium runners as well, so it's good that it's showing strong pace and definitely going to help Kevin's confidence going into the Division 2 race tomorrow. We see VZ getting a bit out of shape, a bit late on the brakes there, nearly into the back of Churka. But Kevin's keeping up with the soft runners here, and I think it still is a bit early to say the soft tyres are kind of past their point and they're really degrading fast. But Kevin's doing an extremely well job in keeping in touch while Toxic Fusion is drifting behind 1.8. So Toxic Fusion go extremely good 1 lap pace, race 5 laps. There's a preconceived judgment to say that it isn't the sharpest, but maybe his tyres just kind of got over it. It's tyre management. He didn't have the best start. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him maybe come in and try an early undercut and try and maybe coax a few drivers in front in as well and try and gain some time that way. But overall, good qualifying, extremely strong pace, but the race pace just isn't up to scratch just yet. But I definitely hope that it will improve.
Definitely. Danny then out of the DRS from Bruno will. He should try and have an incredible sort of section here before the straight to make sure that he can get that DRS. But Riggsy, I mean, he's done good to keep up with Bruno Will, you know. 5 laps, so good on Danny, but I think it's time now to look at this taking move here. Ham Jam with the DRS on Mercury. Mercury looks to be draining out his battery there, trying to defend the position to Ham Jam, but Ham Jam's got the DRS up the inside. Sweet, if you like. Mercury's going to try and defend this though, Rick.
And he's going to have the inside for the final turn as well. They're both going to still go side by side, hoping Mercury doesn't need to get into the pits at this early stage. Ham Jam dies into the pits though. And Danny's in the pits as well, trying to get that undercut on Bruno Will as they both, the front two, are continuing on for another lap here in Shanghai. So the tyres dropping off a bit earlier than expected there as well, Maldi. So I kind of was gauging for a bit of a longer run on the strategy, but the drivers really kind of got the general grip and pace there. Feeling like they're losing a bit too much time. The track's been a bit more abrasive than originally first thought, so they're going to come in and try and get some fresh boots on and try and get an undercut to work.
Yes. They said on the strategy lap 5 was when the pit window opened for the soft runners, so I was expecting pit stops to be, you know, lap 5, 6, 7, you know what I mean? So yeah, Danny P15 then on a set of hards, fresh track in front of him, Riggsy. While Bruno will still experience this dirty air from David as well, so yeah, this could be it for Danny.
I think that was quite a smart thing there as well, like, because I was talking about that Alfa Romeo versus Mercedes team battle, and one of each is pitted to try and obviously cover off the other, while the other drivers are continuing on for another lap. So DJ Danny obviously being at the front in front of his teammate will obviously have had the first call to come out of the pits, so Mercury having to go around and complete another lap, which is quite... It's kind of putting him in the back foot a bit, because DJ Danny and Ham Jam can have exceptional outlaps as both the
pit lane, but VC's up the inside of Churka there, and in the pit lane he goes, followed by Churka. Kevin continues. Kevin, in his first race in Tier 1 STB, Riggsy, Kevin's going to lead the race.
And this is when the medium runners will be at the front of the field. Maldi FNT Kevin, the tier 2 driver, is going to complete, well, he's going to start lap 7 as a race leader for the first time in the top tier. That's the achievement to be breaking on your debut. So kudos to him. As well as Gravity and Nagibot up there as well, second and third, and Maritz is fourth. So this is the harder tyres really kind of coming into play. Mediums are a bit early, hards I think they'll be a bit up to scratch about lap 10, 12 when they're really going to be the faster tyre. Mediums will be kind of just about to fall off the cliff for about that time as well. So
sorry, Rixie,
medium runners are going to have the edge.
It looks like Danny has lost quite a bit of time to Bruno Will.
He's lost a second to Bruno Will. So I don't know what's happened there.
Maybe he was held up in the pit lane. I don't know.
Potentially. He crucially still keeps himself in front of Hamjam, but even crucially on top of that, Mercury has lost out some time on running an extra lap. And he's 2.3 seconds down for the Mercedes in 14.
Buckley overtake mode, sorry Rixie. Buckley overtake mode, DRS up the inside of Libero, but Libero's going to try and come back at him, but no, and Bullseye's out of the section. What is happening here in China? Bullseye's out. Bullseye's off the circuit, he's had enough. There you go, he's out of the Chinese Grand Prix. We'll see him back in the Netherlands next week. That's crazy to say that.
I think the qualifying penalty really early on in this race session, as we see Libero trying to creep it up the inside of Buckley into turn 2. It's a bit brave, it's not really an overtaking place. Buckley does run wide though, gets a bit out of shape on the exit, and that's going to give Libero a run into turn 6. Is he going to try and start the car up the inside? He is not, so he is going to just tuck in behind. I think it's just a matter of biding your time. I don't think this is a main overtaking point. The dirt air is going to be a bit ferocious though, as the grip at the front end of the car is just going to be lifted as well. And he's got Billy WF right behind as well, so McLaren really just going to keep Libero honest at this stage. Well, he's trying to kind of go and fight Buckley in front. He's got to be wary of the McLaren behind, so Libero really in the middle of a three-man battle. And that's probably the worst place you want to be in a three-man battle. You don't want to be the middleman, you want to be the driver at the back, so you can pounce on the mistakes in the front.
Definitely. Buckley then has put out a bit of a gap, but he's had a bad corner there. That's not a good line. Overtake mode for Libero, and it's going to be DRS, which could be a move up the inside of the hairpin.
Is he going to make
no,
the move?
Buckley was using more overtake there.
And it's going to be the hard braking zone, so it's going to be the same overtaking opportunities, like into that hairpin, into turn 1 and into turn 6 as well. They're going to be the heavy braking zones as well, so that's going to help the drivers recharge the ERS battery that they can use and deploy in the two big straights as a form of attack as well as a form of defence. So looking at the ERS management between this battle for 6, Billy WF is fractionally better. It's about 10% of difference between Libero and Billy WF. Buckley and Libero both running very similar ERS percentages, and Billy WF really has an upper hand at this stage. It's a slight upper hand, but it's an upper hand nonetheless.
Maurice then, P4 Rixie, and he's on the back of Nakibati now. He's catching up a bit. And a set of mediums. These tyres are definitely going to come into their own now. We've got Sitsi and P5. He's on a set of hards.
And I'm trying to wager in where the medium runners will probably come in. It will probably be around a pit window at lap 12. I think they'll try and kind of go there and then do 16 on the hards. And if the drivers on the hards are going to, like this, that'll still yet to pit, so that'll be a seat, say your Buckley's, Libero, Billy WF. They'll probably pit about lap 16, 17 for the mediums, and if they're going to try and stretch it, they'll go lap 21, 22 for the set of softs if they want to be extremely quick at the end, where the car's going to be the lightest, track's going to be the most rubbered in, and just generally the car just has a general better performance in the later stages.
Bit to McFly, Rixie. He's in the pit lane.
And to change his set of boots. off the 8
Has you got damage?
lap hard tyres. Not that I can see. I'm going to just quietly jump on. If they got his front wing ready, they do. So he's picked up some damage somewhere. You can't really see it there, but it's probably like one of those small fractions of an end plate. Tiniest, slightest bit of carbon fibre has probably come off the back of that car, and that's enough to completely reduce your aerodynamic performance by 50%. At least half your performance can be affected by the slightest love tap on these cars and the slightest bit of carbon fibre just coming off it. The smallest piece of damage can do the biggest bit of damage as well. So,
I think he's been struggling with that Rigsy for the whole race, because he was struggling on those hards, and you shouldn't be struggling like that. But the 6 is up in P5, and he's on the back of Mariz and Nagy Botti now. You know what, Zitzi, this could be a good race for him. He's in his Renault now, hard compound tyres, P5. Here we go, down the straight. DRS is catching up to this pack.
And crucially, just again, Zitzi is no using. You see a racing point off at turn 13. I think that will be Churka. I think Buckley's still behind us, which he is. He's in P6, so it must have been Churka. I don't know what really happened at turn 13. Just getting the car a bit out of shape, maybe a bit throttle happy on the exit. It was enough to spin the car. As I was saying, sorry, Zitzi really kind of in a prime position here. It is just a matter of keeping your front nose away from the rear wheels of the cars in front and just kind of letting them battle out. They'll be coming into the pits soon enough, and if you're going to try and make a move, do it on the straight. He is just kind of managing it. He looks like he's just managing his ERS. He's not really using it to try and keep up. He knows this isn't his fight. I think it's just a bit methodical for him to just kind of keep a bit of your distance, keep the car pristine, and just save your ERS, save your fuel at this stage. And once you've got clear track in front, that's your time to charge and come in about lap 16 for mediums and lap 20 for softs. If you want to be extremely quick at the end.
So, Davison then is in P8 at the moment. Crucially, Rigsy, he has got a car in front, between him and Bruno Will. So, I'll tell you something, Rigsy. Davison is 1. Churka has retired from the Grand Prix, but Davison was not on anyone's radar for being a championship contender yet. Here he is, going for victory here in China.
And that was there on Boldy. Bruno Will into that hairpin Maldi. Sorry, they're just to kind of cut across. Liberal was letting his teammate go into the hairpin, and then Liberal just kind of choked back.
That was very scary.
Took the main racing line, and Bruno Will just brilliantly slowed the car down just enough to avoid tanking into the back of the sister Williams car. So that could have been scary there. That scary for up close on board the Mercedes. So a bit of team play at Williams as well. So Liberal will have the duty in hand to just try and keep Bruno Will at bay and let Davison just focus on Buckley in front and maybe help Liberal give him a bit of a tow and help him along whilst keeping Bruno Will behind. Bruno Will needs to clear this traffic really quickly, or I think his race 1 can be ruled out as Liberal. And they've touched and Bill WF's up the inside, and they're going to go side by side.
Oh God, no! What's happened there? Has he got any damage?
I can't see any, Maldi. I think it was just a puff of smoke for the 2 tyres there in the Mercedes and the Williams, but Liberal was defending the inside into turn 9.
And now Davison is on the back of Buckley. It's going to be an overtake move.
And let's see if we can get it done. He's already in overtake. DRS will be open just now. Buckley is not going to defend it. He knows this isn't his fight. Easy as you like, up the inside on the braking, does resume the racing line as well, and Bruno Will once again up the inside. He's going up the inside and he's pushing Liberal off the circuit. Their elbows were firmly out on show there, and that's put Liberal right into the clutches of the McLaren, and this battle's going to resume into turn 1 as Billy WF has to pull it, and he's going to have to take the long way round into turn 1. Liberal's on the inside, Billy on the outside. Is he going to
pit window open
all the way around the outside? Oh, and Liberal's run wide, and that's a lot.
Libero needs to stand there. Yeah, you don't want to get on the grass at the first corner. You want to keep the tires off that.
Definitely no, that's not only going to dirty the tyres, it's so easily going to just throw the car into a spin, so crucially just keeping it off the grass there on the outside, off the AstroTurf. But crucially as well, Maldi, that team play with the Williams team for that last lap has allowed Davison a 2-second buffer, with Buckley still to be passed for Bruno Will. So Bruno Will has not only been held back, I think he's been pushed back as well, so definitely got a lot of work to do. Still only just hitting half distance in a lap's time, so there is still 50% of this race still to go.
Yes, Riggsy, there's a battle going on at the moment between Danny, Hamjam and Mercury at the moment. Mercury's at the back, she's going to take advantage. Jamham, so it's two Alfa Romeos and the two Jamham brothers here battling for effectively P3 of the Grand Prix. Bruno Will's overtaken Buckley.
And Hamjam's going to go run the outside. Danny into the hairpin, running the outside. Mercedes Alpha keeps the inside line. Does Hamjam get the traction on the exit? Can he see through this angle? He does. Up the inside into the final turn. Mercedes has it over Alfa Romeo, but the Alpha will have the. And DJ Danny is going to be on the outside there as you see him going past, and Mercury's right behind as well. And Jamham's just loitering there in the distance. And Kevin's into the pits, off the set of mediums and onto the hards. So he's going to go in the hards, so mediums to hards, one stop. And he'll have fresher hards as well, so he'll definitely have some pace as well. But as well as this battle for the net P3 is really starting to heat up now as the two Haasies are going to become involved. So this 4-man train is going to quickly become a 5 as VZ is making his way up. So this is the battle to be watching at the minute, ladies and gentlemen.
This for the effective podium race then.
This will definitely be for the 3rd place position. This will be the final step, and it can be any one of these drivers. It's still too early to call, but all the drivers just making sure they're in the strongest possible position for some strong points.
Yes, BC's been looking quick on this stint at the moment. Now, but the right saying is bridge the gap. Now, catch up to the drivers. Mercury tries to have a look at the inside there of Hamjam, but you can't get alongside. It's very difficult when Hamjam's got constant DRS. As Zitz is in the pits, so I think he's going to be going on to a set of mediums.
Definitely, I don't think the sauce will take him to the end. Most drivers couldn't get the sauce past lap 6, so I would assume he is on the medium tyres as well, Maldi, so he'll definitely just be cruising to the end as well. Bit early for him though.
Nagi Botti, what's happened to him? Something's happened to Nagi Botti there. He is retired from the race.
It's in the pit lane, Maldi. Yellow flag just retired in the pit lane. Very sensible. I don't know what happened to him though. He was running a kind of solid race for a bit.
Sorry,
I was quiet.
Don't look at the track map for some reason. I forget to look, unfortunately. But yeah, yellow flag in the pit lane. Nagi Botti's out of the Chinese Grand Prix. But who is not out of the Chinese Grand Prix at the moment is Danny, Hamjam, Mercury, Jamham, VC. This is the battle for P3, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eyes peeled. This is a good battle happening. This is it for P3. 2 Alphas, 2 harsh drivers, and a Mercedes. What more would you want?
And that's exactly it. I think we're getting a good bit of battling on the circuit as a 5-man train for the final podium place. And crucially to note as well, Maldi, that 2-second buffer that was between Davison and Bruno Will. Bruno Will cleared Buckley, and that gap's originally back to what it was in the early stage, just over a second. Crucially, still outside the DRS detection zone for the Mercedes driver. It'll just be a matter of pitting. Sorry, no pitting. It'll just be a matter of putting in a strong sector time in sector 2 to try and get him back in the DRS detection zone through turn 13 and onto that big straight into the hairpin. And that's all it really takes for him to be right on the rear wing of the Williams in front.
Yes. One thing I want to point out, Riggsy, is in practice, Mercury was complaining about turn 1. His balance was off or something. You know, he said he's got quite a low drag setup, I think. So the turn 1's very difficult. and the turn 1, turn 2. So yeah, he needs to try and manage that if he wants to try and get a podium. Because he has got some decent pace here in China, and he's on for, at the moment, P5, but he could well be getting a podium here in China.
Definitely, I think like turn 1 and 2 is going to be extremely tough on the front left tyre, because the momentum that's being generated in the car, the energy that's being transferred through the G-force is going to put a surmountable amount of pressure on the front left tyre. A hard right is going to kill the front left, and a hard left will kill the front right tyre. So I think it's maybe just trying to find that balance. He'll probably have tweaked a few settings through his suspension, maybe made it a bit softer for general grip through there, or his roll bars. So that's where he's going to go, but he's going to go for a lunge, Maldi, at the inside. Amjam didn't really leave.
He's getting
space,
impatient
but
now.
It was a late move.
He's getting impatient now.
And that is what Martin Brundle would say. I think that would be a day late and a dollar short, but it's fortunately meant that no damage was sustained, and he can just resume his place back in P7.
Ditz is on a charge.
Oh, and he's going to go up the inside. His teammate there in the background, as we can see, but Jamham keeps the place. And the Haas drivers, if they start battling with each other, they're going to drop off, and you can see them there. They are still in that second window.
VC!
If they keep,
I don't know if you've seen that then, Rigsy, but VC looks like he spanned. He lost control of the car, trying to dart to the inside, then dart to the outside. One driver we need to look at the moment, Rigsy, is Kevin. F&T Kevin, he's catching Fusion, he's catching VC, he's at the back of the train. Kevin's got some decent pace.
he's definitely on a charge as well, because he's going to be right behind the Williams. The Bull for P10, who's only 1.4 seconds behind VZ as well. So can Kevin on debut a lap? Can he get in to battle for the pole?
Gonna give him confidence. I'm actually scared to race against Kevin tomorrow. Like, I'm scared now. He's got some very good pace.
He's blisteringly quick. He's on a different strategy as well. He started on the mediums, and already he's on the Toxic Fusion, who's also just joined in on this battle. So this train behind DJ Danny has gone, it spans from P5 to P, which is going to...
This is what we want, and Zitzi as well, Rigsy, is looking quick. This is going to be an incredible battle. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Inject it. I'm here for it.
He's just letting you know how here for it is. I'll tell you something as well. I'm pretty much going to plant myself firmly in my seat for these final 10 laps and join them in the booth. I mean, if I left midway through the race, I think that'd be a bit unprofessional, but we're much here for this battle for the podium places.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Jamham. And Jamham is... This is the crucial point for it as well, Maldi, because the two Haas drivers, they need to avoid battling each other. They need to wait. They need to get back onto the end of this train and focus on Mercury, who's in 7th, rather than focus on an inter-team squabbling. VZ or Jamham, it's Jamham that's leading. So Jamham, in my opinion, should have the right away. If VZ thinks he's quicker, they should let him know, or whatever, vice versa. But the last thing they need to do is just keep tripping over each other. And what's happened to Davison is they've both switched places for the lead. This is for the lead. Maldi, this is for the lead. This is Bruno Will and Davison for the lead, and they've closed the gap. And they switched
Let's
places.
forget about Danny Hamjam and all them for the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. There's a bit of confusion there. I've always noticed, Rigsy, Bruno's gear changes. You've seen it in Vietnam. We thought it was because it was raining to get more traction, but it looks like he does it all the time. He's short shifting very quickly.
You normally expect his excessively quick upper shifts to be in wet conditions for the rain, but you can see him, he's even utilising the first gear, which is going to generate the most torque at the lowest speed, and that's just going to throw the car into a spin. So he's having to increase his upshifts at an excessive rate to try and avoid that wheel spin and help the traction off these slow turns, which is probably why he's quick on the exit. If I punch the ERS button as well, it'll explain a lot why he's really quick off some of these corners in qualifying and in race trip.
Yeah, Bruno Will, very very strategic all the time, and I'm here for it. Front row seat, I'm here for it. Overtake mode then. Oh, here we go. Davies in. He's going to go defensive. You can't really do the double move in. Davies in. You can't do the double move in.
I don't even think he was in a position where the double move was warranted. If he keeps making that a regular thing, then he might have a bit of explaining to do in the steward's room after the race. But even doing that straight, Maldy, he didn't really need to go as far to the inside as he did. He was too far back. He wasn't going to make a late move. Bruno Will isn't the kind of drivers that just go for these late lunges, as we see Liverpool and Buckley both into the pits as well. So that's the thing as well. Like, Bruno Will isn't a driver that just decides, oh, I'm going to just stick up the inside for 150 years back, because he's no like that kind of driver. So Davieson's gone that defensive. Is a bit unnecessary, as you see him getting a bit out of shape on the exit of 6.
Someone's joined. FNT Boss, who's I think also is from Brazil. So need to one more Brazil. P2 then for Bruno Will, as we've said for the last 20 laps, Riggsy. Bruno Will in P2. That's a surprise in itself. P2, 5 tenths behind Davidson.
And it's another thing to note as well that if one of these two drivers won, they'll be the first repeat winner of the season, because they've both won a race. Bruno Will won in Australia in the season opener, and Davison won last time out in Vietnam. And again, Maldy, he's gone too defensive and then resuming the racing line. I don't think he needs to do that. Like, it is crucial to break the slipstream and such, but when Bruno Will is not right on your gearbox, you don't need to make the move.
I think Davison's getting very scared, to be honest. I think he's getting very agitated because he knows he needs to win this race. The gap, if he is to win and get 7 points over Bruno Will, is going to be 6 points. And, you know, if you're losing that, even at round 4, you know, it's still going to be harsh, you know, on your championship battle. But we've got Zitzi now. Here we go. Zitzi's got the DRS on the back of Kevin here. Fusion looks to be very quick, and Zitzi's got the inside of Kevin. Riggsy, Zitzi's got the inside of Kevin here at the turn 1. Oh, around the outside, bit
still
contact.
Go side to side. Zitzi has to go the long way round. He's got the grip.
Here we go. Look at this overtake mode and everything. Sector 1 yellow flag. What's happened? There's been a spin out. Zitz's arm. Fusion. Oh, Fusion. Very aggressive move there. And Mercury's now on. Mercury's getting feisty here with Ham Jam. He's getting impatient now, we'd say. He's getting impatient, Mercury.
We've noticed that a few times from Mercury this race. It's just a matter of, I mean, yeah, you can always just jump out the slipstream to try and make maybe Ham Jam a bit more alert, and actually try to make the move into the hairpin or into turn 1. But there was like one time I saw him, and again he was just thrown up the inside for the sake of just throwing up the inside. Luckily enough, no damage done. But Ham Jam's always going to have the DRS with DJ Danny in front, and it's DJ Danny that's really effectively missing out on any advantage for the rear wing flap opening. So he's going to have to just use his DRS and turn the fuel mixture up, whilst everybody else behind him have that additional benefit. But DJ Danny doing a stellar job at keeping him behind as well. So he's really holding. He's really standing his ground for this final podium race.
I'm so sorry to cut you off, but Zitzi is looking. He is looking good at the moment. I think if he keeps his pace up, Riggsy, we could be looking at Zitzi getting P3. I think.
Oh.
Battling going on with the two Haasies there.
Two Haasies have to be wary on Gravity.
Gravity is out of the Chinese Grand Prix. It's in the pit lane. I did look at the map then. 4 tenths is the gap
that
between
one
Bruno
time.
Will and Davison.
The one time in the pit lane, Bullseye's car's still going about, and I think he left the session well and truly a good while ago now. So he's just strolling around in that Ferrari. His AI is just taking control. I think he did retire on track at turn 10.
Riggsy P1, I think it's going to be overtake now.
Oh, and he is close as Davison. He's not going to defend it. Bruno Will's just going to go up the inside with an easy move. Is Davison going to try and date on the brakes? He is not.
So then, what I think now is going to happen, Riggsy, Davison is going to try and keep it in the DRS. He's going to go for another move, I think, with the DRS. I think that's what's going to happen now. Yeah.
Is it going to be into turn 1?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
One?
He's closing. Brunnerwood's going to go defensive. Davison's going to go the long way round, all the way around the outside. The neck muscles. If this was real life, Davison's neck would be absolutely screwed at the moment.
Oh, that heat would be well and truly off the shoulders there. The amount of speed they carry through.
Yeah, I could never
turn
drive
1 and
this
2.
back in real life.
Oh,
Never.
Oh, honestly, Murray, if that was me in the car, my neck would have been snapped in two and my heel would have been rolling onto the side of the circuit. It would have just completely wiped me clean out. But I think it's quite right in you saying that. I think Davison's really just going to settle for setting the slipstream.
Mercury sent it, Ritzy, Mercury sent it. We're going to have to forget about Brunnerwood for a minute. Mercury sent it on the inside there, turn 6. And he could get the move done, but now he's going to go around the outside off the Mercedes now. Oh, this race compared to Vietnam is like, oh, so good. Zitz is getting involved as well, Ritzy.
And Seatsy it's key to put. Oh, he split the two Haasies already. And it's on the medium tyres as well, and he's going to have jam ham for P6. Potentially doing this straight. And it's Seatsy that could be the one that we could see on the top step of the podium. That's a bit of a big ask. But on the final step of the podium for P3, so Seatsy really making his name, kind of just throwing his name into the hat as he is in the slipstream of jam ham. But everybody else is going to have DRS as well, so Jam Ham's good as a defence, but he's gone for a late move up the inside. Why is it doing that camera angle? But just to mount the curb to try and avoid the Haas. I think that was a bit late there as well from Seatsy. A bit of a late call, but there's always turn 1. You can just see the amount of traction he gets. If you see Mercury having to sort out the car.
Here we go, overtake
it's
mode. He's using a lot of overtake, Riggsy, though. He's using a lot of overtake, it's a lot of overtake.
We're going to see him.
Here we go, he's going to have the inside for turn 2. Yeah, he's going to do it, it.
Oh, and it's close, it's still so close, we can't see them.
What a move.
And he's got it.
What a move. P6 now for Zitzy, he's on it, he's on a charge here in China. It's P6 now, and Danny is still keeping P3. This could be an incredible performance for Danny, but what a performance for Alfa Romeo at the moment, Riggsy. They're picking up 25 points. Now, that is pretty good.
It's a race win for Alfa Romeo with 25 points. Seatsy is going to be right on the back of Mercury, though. It'll be a matter of how long. I think it's a matter of when rather than if for Seatsy gets past Mercury. At the moment, Mercury is going to have to maybe take a bit of a back seat. We see yellow flags out, and that's for the Ritz at turn 10.
And Mariz.
Oh, and we'll get Seatsy. Mercury's kind of dropped off the back of Ham Jam, and Mercury is on the defensive.
Here we go.
He was attacking Ham Jam.
Down the straight. This is incredible, Riggsy. Here we go down the straight. DRS, sweet as you like. Up the inside. There you go. Up the inside. Sweet as you like. P5.
And that was a pretty clean move there once again for the Renault driver. Just kind of making inroads on this battle for the podium. And he's just been like, it's been like a 6-man train for the most of the stint. And the positions barely ever changed, and then you've just got Seatsy just showing up with a set of mediums and just picking them off one by one.
But Riggsy, what I must say is his ERS compared to Danny at the moment is not good, and you need to have a lot of ERS for the end of the race. Because that's when the most ERS is going to be used. For that final sprint to the line. So, but Zitzy, I think Riggsy, we have found our podium. A last finisher on the podium, but anything can happen in the next three laps in one sector.
Definitely, it's going to be. I think it's going to be close. Seatsy I think Seatsy can get it done. It's just a matter of getting traction of 13, getting the DRS. Ham Jam's going to have the DRS. It's the same for every driver in front. They've had the DRS. but Seats always managed to find a way past, whether it's into turn 1, turn 6, turn 13, you name it, he's going to make the move somewhere. And Seats definitely is on a charge, but he needs to be wary of the fact that he's on 9-lap medium load tyres now, and they tyres not only degrade, they kind of hit a performance point as well. So he needs to be wary that he is still managing the tyres to get him to the end of this race.
But by Kevin and VC down to the final corner. VC's up the inside of Kevin, but Kevin's going to try and defend the position a little bit. VC goes over the curb there. It's been DRS again for Kevin. Kevin's done a good run down into turn number 1 now. He's going to take the outside line, the longer route round the outside. Sweet if you like. There you go, P8.
And let's see where Ham Jam is and all this. Is he's always looking like he's really close to Danny for P3, but he's going to have Cece right there as well, and Cece is going to have so much more
very late on the
traction,
brakes as
so
well,
much
Riggsy.
He's definitely going to try and make a move. It looks like they just push this Mercedes round turn 7 and 8, and he's going to try and maybe let the car roll round the outside of turn 8 and carry the speed into 9, get the inside. Is he going to try it? I think it'd be a bit unorthodox, but
Yeah, I think
we've
it's the
seen
dirty air.
We've seen it.
Riggsy. I think
We've
the dirty
seen
air
it
is playing a
happen.
part as well.
Definitely, the dirty air's definitely going to be playing a part for that second sector and here as well. But Seetse is going to have that benefit of the medium tyre as well through turn 12 and 13, where the traction's just going to be so good to grip. You can just see him carrying so much more speed and keeping it tucked to the inside there. As he's going to deploy his ERS once the DRS flap opens. Is he going to open? It's going to activate his ERS. I think it'd be.
Hamjam's going to look at Danny. Danny there going very aggressive there on the defending actually. That was actually very aggressive there from Danny. I don't know if he did look like he may have moved in the braking zone there.
There might be a few complaints about.
Right there, Riggsy. Sorry, I'm so sorry again. I keep cutting you off, but this is up the inside of Hamjam. Here we go for P4, the Chinese Grand Prix. He's up the inside now. This is incredible. Round the outside, going to go around the outside now with his mediums. Round the outside, all the way around the outside. Go on, push, push, push. He can't do it though. He can't do it, but he's in up pursuit now. Overtake mode. He's using all of it down to turn 6 now. Round the outside, had a bit of contact. Round the outside goes 60. Pushed off by the circuit there. Mercury's going to get involved now. This is really helping Danny for his podium, but Zitzi, come on. See, that's remaining.
Hamjam really getting the elbows out when he needed to there. You could just see the fact that he was coming out of the exit at turn 3. He just knew where he was going to put the car. Seatsy, the slightest tap of wheels there into the braking zone so easily could have went wrong for the pair of them. Fortunately for both, still in the race, still in contention for this podium, but Seatsy has been pushed back by Mercury as well, so his podium charge may have been halted. I don't want to say it's completely over, but it's definitely been put on the back burner in this late stage. This has got Mercury to pass, Hamjam to pass, and DJ Danny as well to pass, all in a lap and a bit. And
Mercury's at the inside of Hamjam, finally for the Chinese Grand Prix, P4. Oh, this is incredible. Come on, Mercury, don't mess this up now. Come on, get after Danny now. Here we go. Oh, Riggsy. Mercury could get a podium here in China. This is incredible.
And how will Alfa Romeo
Final
play it?
lap.
Are they going to just say? Are they going to just keep it the way it is? Switch? I think it'd be a bit harsh to switch. Mercury will need to make the move on track. One Alfa Romeo robbing the other of a podium would be a bit of a heartbreak story to say the least.
This is going to be insane end to the Chinese Grand Prix. This is going to be absolutely amazing. Mercury is going to be on it. Mercury, I know what Mercury's thinking right now. Mercury's thinking, you need to get out of my effing way. You need to move. Okay, he's going to want this podium. Look at him, he's on it. Here in China, he's on it. Here we go, round the second sector now.
And Hamjam and Seatsy are gone side by side through there, Maldi, while we're focusing on the Alfa.
And Seatsy's been pushed off the second. That's going to give Jamham the opportunity now. Hamjam's helped out his brother. Overtake mode now onto the Renault. You don't want to really overtake there because then you've got a big DRS. But Riggsy. Mercury's going to absolutely destroy Danny's chances, but the dirty air is absolutely insane. He struggled. It's going to have to be a late dive up the inside, Riggsy. DRS overtake. He's using absolutely everything. Bruno Willie's going to win the Chinese Grand Prix. We can't look at that. We need to look at Mercury. Does to the outside line. This is the 2 Alfa Romeos. They had... Oh, and Mercury's done it. Mercury's overtaken Danny there with the inside. What a move for the podium. Zitz is overtook Hamjam. Oh, this is incredible.
Oh, is Danny going to get on the line? And they got in that heat. Oh, only gets it.
Zitz is going to get P5. Hamjam's going to spin across the track there. That's an incredible end to the Chinese Grand Prix. But Mercury on penalties is going to lose the podium. That was insane.
It was a dead heat
Wait,
to
what?
the line as
Didn't have
well.
any Mercury didn't have any penalties. Why is he P4?
DJ Danny didn't even look like he got it either. It might be a timing glitch. I don't want it. We did get a shot of them coming across the line, and it definitely did look like Mercury got the P3, but he's been pushed back.
What a race.
We'll need to,
What a
we'll
race.
need to wait on some official word, but it's definitely going to be DJ Danny's. You'll see it on the screen there. So it's
Wow.
it's a bit all over the place at the minute, Maldy. Because I'm definitely sure Mercury did cross the
Yeah,
line
yeah.
and
He
third.
didn't have any penalties.
So we'll need to wait and see. But it is Bruno Will at the end of the day that does take the winner's trophy as the champagne is sprayed. Mercedes first back-to-back winners. They're not back-to-back winners. They're the first repeat winners of the season with a win in Australia and in China. Davison strong showing once again to take P2, and it was Mercury. Even though you'll see it as DJ Danny, it is Mercury that does take the final step to our understanding. But Seatsy though, Seatsy 18th to 5th on a different strategy is definitely driver of the day contention. And speaking of driver of the day, Maldi, who do you think, or who was your driver of the day?
I think my driver of the day was Zitzi. He had an incredible start. He was able to take those hards so long into the Grand Prix, and then he was able to get on those mediums and just take advantage of the train that was forming. You know, Danny, Mercury, Hamjam, Jamham. You had VC in there. It was wow. So, Rigsy, we need to talk about, the studio's going to have them talk about the, with Mercury being in P3 over the line there after an incredible overtake on turn. So, the studio's at the moment, Rigsy, we are interviewing the drivers as if Danny was in P3. So, we've got the drivers into the booth here. Zitzi has to go quickly, so we're just going to quickly get him in. Just let him talk quickly. He needs to go, so get him in. Quick question. He was in P5. Bruno, Will, and VC cannot. Not VC. Sorry. Sorry. Davies in. That's it. Bruno, Will, and Davies in. Can't speak English very well, but I'm sure they're very happy with their results here in China. So we've got Danny, Mercury, and Zitzi in the party for an interview. But I don't know where Zitzi is at the moment. He can't join. But what a race, Zitzi. While I wait for Zitzi, who was your driver of the day?
I would definitely say Seatsy. Definitely, we did see this like 5-man, 6-man train for most of the second stint, and besides a few late and brave moves on the brakes, we never really saw too much change in that train, but Seatsy kind of came and gave the drivers something to give a second thought of in terms of trying to keep their place. Seatsy just on a different strategy, picked them off one by one, and the final few laps were pretty hectic to keep up with, and that's the type of racing that myself and Maldi's commentators and his viewers would pretty much like to see going forward. So I'd probably give it to Seatsy.
Thank you, Zitzi. Zitzi, include your audio. I'm going to give you a quick question on. We know you have to go. So, you were the game driver. You were the game's driver of the day. You are me and Riggsy's driver of the day. Yeah, great strategy. How you feeling, P5? Okay. We've got your home race next week. Any expectations, Itzy, for next week? You've got the Dutch Grand Prix. Okay, Itzy. Well done on P5. Great strategy. Okay, Mercury. The classification was P4, but you crossed the line P3, so the stewards are going to look at that. But Mercury, you were at times on for podium. Talk us through your race, and you did actually get a podium on track. I don't know what was going on with the classification, but yeah, speak to us about how you think your race went.
Yeah, I think the game's glitched in some way. We're trying to sort of figure it out, but in my eyes, that is 100% my podium because I crossed the line first. But it was a sweaty race to say the least. I sort of sat in the train for a while. I managed to catch the gap back up after the pit stops, and it was sort of just a big train from there. Hamjam had quite good pace, so it was a struggle to get past him. But I made him and Sitsi battling a lap from the end, and then made my move on Danny.
Yeah, if you watch the stream back, Mercury, me and Riggsy were going off our heads. It was an incredible overtaking move, turn 14, where Danny looked like he locked up or went wide and you were able to take advantage. Well done, Mercury. P4 classification, but I'm sure the stewards will sort out for P3. Danny, you were classified P3, first podium of the season at the moment. How are you feeling? You definitely had some very good pace from qualifying, and welcome back to the commentary box this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just disappointed with that last lap. I mean, I was in B3 for all the race, and just at the hairpin, I just couldn't turn. I don't know why. It just didn't want to turn, and I braked at my normal point, and it just didn't want to turn. Yeah, I mean, I put up some good defense against Hamjam for, well, basically all the race, and yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the classifications there, but yeah, it's good points for Alpha anyway.
For Alfa Romeo, Danny, you must be very happy with you and Mercury's performance this evening.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't had the. We were doing all right to start with, but I think this race has proved that we are doing very well, and hopefully we can continue that in the next races.
Okay, Danny, thank you, and thank you to Mercury. Well done to Bruno, Will, Davizin, and we're going to say Mercury at the moment because of classification. Thank you, Riggsy, for joining me in the commentary box this evening for the Chinese Grand Prix. And thank you for everyone that's viewed, and thank you to everyone who viewed after on YouTube. Do join us tomorrow, Mercury and Danny. You'll be able to hear their voices again for tomorrow's Tier 2 Chinese Grand Prix, where I am going to be going for victory. Thank you. In all seriousness, do join us tomorrow for the Tier 2 Chinese Grand Prix, and next week, same time, 7 PM, for the Tier 1 Dutch Grand Prix. And it's the first ever STB Dutch Grand Prix. It's going to be an absolute classic. And me and Riggsy, we are so ready for the return. Well, the trip to the Netherlands. So thank you, Riggsy, and we'll see you tomorrow for Tier 2 China.